Ready?
All right, let's go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Secretary Matias, can you call the roll?
Reverend Matias here. Pastor Moody.
Present.
Dr. Randalls.
Present.
Mr. Ross.
Present.
Ms. Shatke.
Present.
Ms. Slade.
Present.
Dr. Feld.
Present.
Dr. Flores.
Here.
President Baker.
Here.
Okay, we're all present.
Before we approve the agenda, suggest a slight change. We're going to have two different action items for the executive exempt contracts. And if everyone is approve of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, moving on. Public comment board agenda items.
This is not a board agenda item.
Okay, so we will get to that one at the end of the meeting. All right. Report secretary's report. It looks like you don't have a secretary's report. Do you?
I do not.
No secretary's report. Superintendent's report.
I do have two reports. John Hemhold, I would ask that he come forward, Dr. Baker, and members of the board.
Good evening, Dr. Baker, members of the board, Superintendent Weatherall Neal. Superintendent asked me to just come provide a quick update about the start of school. And this is going on my 9th year, and I dare say this was one of the smoothest starts that we've had. Had a few minor kinks with transportation, things that we're working on communicating with parents, relatively minor. You know, a few late buses here and there, but you know what? By and large, it was a great start of school. We're already working on crunching the numbers on enrollment, and again, we're not gonna. It's way too early to predict, but you know, we're putting in the work. We've got the extra hands on deck, where central office staff are breaking out to support the school principals and the secretaries and the staff in the building, and it's gone really quite smooth. And that's really all I've got.
Stay, because SRO is next.
Okay. We had a meeting last week with the school reform officer. As you might recall, we have 4 schools that fell onto this year's top to bottom list. And, you know, there's been a lot of reporting in the news and concerns about, you know, what does this mean when the SRO is coming to meet with us? And does this mean, you know, potential action or closure? And, you know, we had an absolutely great meeting with the SRO. We are continuing to work collaboratively with her and her team to ensure that we get these 4 schools and any other schools that were once on that list off of it. Mm-hmm. And we're very confident of it. And in fact, I thought she was quite complimentary of the work we have here, and seemed to really give us that extra confidence that they're not looking to target any of our schools. Our schools are really not on any list right now, but we got to continue to do the work, which is what we're going to be doing anyway. So, you know, while certainly there may be some concerns out there about the SRO and its accountability and transparency, you know, we recognize that right now she's working with the state law, and she has to implement that. That includes annually publishing a top to bottom list, regardless of which test it came from, whether it was the MEP or the MSTEP. And we're going to continue to work with them. There was also a memo that was issued by the governor's office, I think that same day, just that week, where they indicated that any potential closure or action would not happen until 2019. We have heard just today that Senate Majority Leader Arlen Meekhoff is asking for an Attorney General opinion to determine whether or not that's the case. I think there are some that'd like to see action taken sooner, but you do not have 3 consecutive years of MSTEP data, which is one of the main points of contention there. And there's some legal issues happening down in Southeast Michigan where, in the case of the East Detroit Public Schools, there's a lawsuit to try to prevent the SRO from essentially taking over one or more of their schools. And so That's what we know, but by and large, it was, I thought, a very positive meeting, one that gives us confidence that we're doing the right thing to keep moving our schools off those lists.
Yeah, I'd say from my vantage point being there, I was a little bit wary going into it, but, and I know there's been lots of controversy around the existence of the office, but Natasha Baker, who does the work, first of all, two things. One is that she seemed very confident in our ability to do the work, absolutely without question. And secondly, she definitely has a genuine sense of wanting to help schools work. And so, I was very happy to meet her and appreciate her confidence in us, so.
I would just add that they did reduce the reporting requirements, and they created a pretty simple 2-page template that we will need to respond as part of our school improvement plans. So they've listened to us, they've worked with us, and when we've said, hey, you're asking for a ton of data, do you really need all of this? And we don't want to replicate what are some of those things that we're required annually to do with school improvement planning.
Any concerns, questions?
Appreciate the update.
Discussions? All right. Action items. So let's start with, can I get a motion to support the executive exempt contract for the Executive Director of Special Education and Early Intervention Services, Laura Lamore? Somebody make that motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Can you call the roll?
Okay. Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Dr. Randalls,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Shotke,
Yes.
Ms. Slade,
No.
Dr. Feld,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
No.
President Baker.
No.
Okay,
All right, motion passes.
motion passes.
Can I get a motion for executive exempt contract for Executive Director of Pre-K Elementary and K-8 Instructional Support, Bridget Cheney?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Yeah.
Dr. Baker, my comments revolve around a traditional approach to multi-year contracts for staff other than the superintendent. And I'd like to encourage us to look at this issue in the future, whether it's a subject of a retreat or it's held in the transparency in public as we're doing now. But I think, with the size of our district, that we really need to be looking at opportunities for reorganization, salary schedule study for administrative staff, and perhaps moving in a different direction than providing multi-level or multi-year contracts for administrative staff, because I think there's some advantages to having just annual contracts, especially in an organization that is ever-moving, that is transforming, and dealing with some very difficult issues with respect to outcomes and performance. So with that said, we may continue, I guess.
Okay it's not okay to include the superintendent deliberation. I will say that in my conversations with discussing the rationale for 2-year contracts is the importance of, giving people who are in pretty high positions that we need to trust to be here from year to year, having them around on 2-year contracts. So, any other discussion? All right, call the roll.
Okay. Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Dr. Randalls,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Shotke,
Yes.
Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Feld,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
No.
President Baker.
Yes.
Okay, pass.
All right, motion passes. Next is the first reading of the policy 3150, our budget fund balance. And ask John to come forward. This is
Larry O. I would
I'm
ask
sorry,
Larry
Larry
O
O.
to come forward.
So this has been a fun conversation this year. It's what a fund balance means. So anyway, so.
Good evening, President Baker, Superintendent, members of the board. Yes, we have had quite a few discussions surrounding fund balance, probably last year, actually, maybe since I've been here. But anyways, what was directed by the board and the Finance Committee was to review the fund balance policy that exists and conform it, I guess, to the reality of how our fund balance is viewed, I guess, by the state. So what you have in front of you is a revised fund balance. And simply what I did is the guidelines I left unchanged, the 5 to 10% scenario that had been current policy, and simply took the calculation to conform that calculation to the state's early warning calculation of fund balance. And that's the unrestricted fund balance divided by unrestricted general fund revenue. The current policy uses expenditures as the computational method instead of revenue. The state early warning computation uses as unrestricted fund, general fund revenue, so that's what the fund balance, the proposed fund balance policy now reflects. There is also some, I'm going to say, accounting technical stuff in the current policy that really isn't appropriate, in my opinion, for a board policy, so I took some of that stuff out and made it very succinct in terms of what the level should be and how it's computed, and that's how it's computed, and that's what you have in front of you in terms of proposed new fund balance policy. This went to the Finance Committee, as you're aware, at their last meeting, and they approved it to come to this for this board for first reading.
Can somebody from the Finance Committee translate?
Yeah.
For those people that aren't quite sure how to
That's
divide.
exactly what he said.
Unrestricted fund balance. You know, so.
That's how it goes, right? So I don't think that some of these things aren't that easy to distill into
You
something
guys that
that's.
smart?
We are, we're a cracker and jack group, right? And
Move for approval, move for first reading of the board policy regarding fund balance definition and guidelines.
Support now, we can discuss it. So, so what this actually ends up meaning is we're focusing on, can you explain?
It is simply that we have to go, so instead of our previous policy reflected the law, now this new policy with the new changes now reflects the new law as it stands and the updated interpretation by the.
Yeah, and it's to our advantage. They changed the law to our disadvantage, so that we had to include our grant funding, and for poor districts, that's significant because of our title funding, and now it doesn't include that, so.
Okay.
It's aligning, Mr. O was leading the charge to align us with the state law.
Right. So this is where we had problems earlier this year trying to figure out exactly what
Right,
that meant.
right.
So it does mean it's our unrestricted, so this is the funds we have control over.
This computation is what the state will look at on an annual basis from audited financial statements, so
Oh,
it
this
makes
is-
sense.
So this is just aligning us with state law.
Yes.
This is the first reading. Any other discussion? Yeah.
Okay. Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Dr. Randalls,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Shotke,
Yes.
Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Feld,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
Yes.
President Baker,
Yes.
pass.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda grouping?
So moved?
Support.
All right, call the roll.
Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Dr. Randalls,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Shotke,
Yes.
Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Feld,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
Yes.
President Baker,
Yes.
all yeas.
All right, discussion items. So we are, I got Academic Achievement Committee is changing its date, its meeting date.
Well, we're changing our meeting date to the 27th,
Okay. And what time of the day does that take place?
9 o'clock,
9 o'clock, okay.
9 to 10:30.
What's on the agenda? I can't come because I'm out of town. What's on
Yeah, I
the
know.
agenda?
Yeah. And the only reason why I changed is because I would be out of town.
Yeah, I know, I figured as much, yeah. What's, just out of curiosity, what's on the agenda? Remember?
Well, I think the agenda was mailed out to everybody. Get a
I can
chance.
check it out. I'll
Yeah.
check it out.
I would prefer you do that.
Next is, at this time, so this date is incorrect, so that would be, next Monday would be the 12th, right? Is that correct?
Correct.
And we do not have a topic, we do not have a reason to meet. Does anyone else have, since it's early in the school year, we haven't really gotten going yet, there's not really much. Does anyone have an objection to this, or have something that we really need to discuss in a work session?
On the 12th?
Yes.
So this date is incorrect, the 9th.
Yeah, I
the
was
9th
very
is Friday.
confused about
It ought
that.
to be the 12th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it canceled for the 12th?
Well, I'm asking, are you guys, is everyone okay with us canceling it for the 12th? Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Strong objections? Okay, all right, no work session on September 12th.
Just fine.
All right,
Okay.
public comment, non-agenda items, or any items.
Okay, we have Cleveland Mays, if you can step up to the podium. Thank you. We'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Board, everyone, I had some concerns with busing for quite some time, and it brought me here today. My daughter gets picked up at campus right here on Thomas, and I've talked to the bus drivers over the years, and there's been quite a concern from what I'm told from the residents across there, that we're making too much noise, the buses make too much noise, and that bus drivers have been directed to do all kind of stuff, turn off the engines, go around the block, all kind of stuff. What brings it to a point today is that first day of school, my daughter's being picked up at Thomas and Ethel, and which is down the street from the little transfer area. And I don't quite understand why that's the place when we have a designated place for transfer students right behind us. It was made for the transfer. But when I talked to the bus driver, she said, well, we were told that, we're making too much noise and we want to keep the buses over at Ethel. Enough's enough. Someone has to step up and put some common sense to this here. I'm sensitive to neighbors and the noise, but they live across from a school. That's where it was designated for the children to gather, to muster, to catch the bus. I hope, someone can do something about it.
Thank you for your time.
Under 3 minutes?
You got
You
it.
made it.
You got lots of sand about
Yeah,
it.
lots of time.
Thank you.
Are there any other? No more comments? Superintendent's comments?
Yeah, I would like to thank the parents and the staff, as well as our students for today. It was a great start for the first day of school, and just really pleased that everyone worked together to make this happen. It is a lot of work to open up schools for 20,000 people, and GRPS did it like no other.
Board member comment, I'm going to start with Ms. Shockey and work our way this way, sorry. So, I'll go the other way next time, if I remember.
Just a happy first day of school to all of the students and teachers and staff. Congratulations, you are through it nearly. You get to go home and put your feet up for a few minutes before we're back at it. I just have to say, as my first year as being a board member and getting to drop my own kids off, in schools here at GRPS, I felt like every student was my student. It's a pretty proud feeling, so it's just an honor to be able to do that. I think my daughter thought I was pretty obnoxious, high-fiving every kid at North Park and dancing around. So just thank you for the opportunity to be a part of today.
Dr. Forrest?
No comment.
Pastor Moody?
No comment.
Dr. Randalls?
Welcome back.
I said, welcome back.
Reverend Matias?
Yeah, very exciting to see our students all dressed up and ready to go to school. They look very sharp.
Just want to ditto the superintendent and express my appreciation for everybody's hard work.
And let's hear it for the bus drivers. That's a lot of work, so good opening, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I was at Central today, picking up my son on his first day of high school. You know,
Ooh.
it's my version of lurking around the tree. That's what I did about 10 years ago or something. But anyway, so he is. So Central was smooth. They all had some sense that I could fix their air conditioning problem.
Yes.
So anyway, I did say I'd mention it. So and I looked at the weather, and it's going to be the 70s the rest of the week. So anyway, but yeah, it was a great first day, and thanks for everybody's work. So with that, we are adjourned.